It's the month of October and we are still celebrating the mother of all professions, teaching. Welcome to the Science of Learning podcast, your portal to the captivating realm where entrepreneurship education, technology, and empowerment intersect. I'm your enthusiastic host, Moike Sinchoba, and today we have the honor of hosting Dr. Mariette Wheeler, a finalist for the prestigious Varkey Foundation Global Teacher Prize for 2023. Welcome, Dr. Wheeler.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Dr. Wheeler, your nomination for the Varkey Foundation Global Teacher Prize is a remarkable achievement. Can you share with us what this recognition means to you and how it impacts your mission as an educator?
It is a great delight and an honor to have been selected as one of the finalists for this international competition. It allows me the platform to represent my school, Pretty Heights Academy, as well as the Western Cape Education Department and our beautiful country, South Africa, on an international stage. It serves to be, hopefully, an inspiration to other teachers in our country to also see that we as South Africa do not have to stand back in terms of what we do in education.
Great. Your journey from marine biologist to a teacher is truly unique. Could you elaborate on your qualifications and how they have equipped you for your role as an educator, especially in the context of this global nomination?
I've been fortunate to have studied full-time to become a marine biologist, and I've got my PhD in zoology, specifically focused on marine biology. For which I went to subantarctic Marion Islands, halfway to Antarctica, where I worked with seabirds and seals and albatrosses. And when I came back from working again on subantarctic Marion Island, I was motivated to become a teacher. For me, it is very special to be able to share my experiences of being in the field, and especially having been on subantarctica with my learners. And this really helps me to highlight things in my classroom. It also gives me more of a global perspective, having been out there, as well as having been to international conferences where I presented my work, but it gives a more global experience and being able to now compete in this international competition.
Interesting. Being shortlisted for the Varkey Foundation Global Teacher Prize is a testament to your exceptional contribution to education. Can you highlight some of the key milestones in your career that have led to this prestigious recognition?
When I was motivated to consider career in education, that I jumped at the opportunity. I received the Funza Lushaka bursary to go and study the postgraduate certificates in education at the University of Cape Town in 2015. I had wonderful teaching experiences during this PDCE at South Peninsula High School and at Bishop's Diocesan College here in Cape Town. I started to teach at Protea Heights Academy in 2016, and then in 2018, I decided to expand my horizon. So I went to teach closer to the Lesotho border in the Southspruit community at Southspruit Christian Private School, and experiencing the opportunities and challenges there. I returned to the end of 2018, which worked out so well because in 2019, the Two Oceans Aquarium Educational Foundation started to look for pilot schools in marine sciences. And we were fortunate to then have been selected as one of the pilot schools to start the subject in schools at 2020. And I've been since teaching marine sciences since 2020, piloting it in that year. And I also became the subject head for marine sciences. And it's been wonderful to see how the subject has developed and grown nationally.
You are truly flying the flag high for the Funza Lushaka recipients. Your approach to education appears to be deeply rooted in your academic background. How do you incorporate project-based learning in your teaching, and how has it influenced your teaching philosophy?
When I was still working as an environmental impact assessor, I decided to become involved in ISCOM Expo for Young Scientists, which is where learners get to do their own investigations in various fields of science. When I then decided to become a teacher, I motivated for Pretty Heights Academy to also participate in the expo. In 2017, I managed to get some sponsorship for the school to have boards, those large display boards, to have our first in-school expo. And from there, our learners have been participating at a regional as well as national and even an international level. We've had learners traveling to Atlanta with their science projects. And recently, in October 2023, we had Jessica Visser, who's just won the most innovative project at the International Science Fair, which really is inspiring, not just for her, but also to our learners here, that you can achieve what you set your goal to. In my classroom, I also make use of project-based learning, where I get my learners to read further, to research concepts, and then come back and present it to these learners.
Wow, that's great. As we are celebrating the month of October, which is Teachers Month, the Varkey Foundation Global Teacher Prize is an international acknowledgement of your impact as an educator. Could you tell us about the most significant challenges you've overcome and achievements you've celebrated on your educational journey leading up to this moment?
When I was teaching at Stafford Christian Private School, it was a school with less resources than what I'm used to here in City. In terms of resources such as scientific equipment, apparatus, in many cases, these learners do not get to do practical activities themselves in life sciences or physical sciences. And I decided that these learners must get an opportunity too. So I designed practicals that I used kitchenware that was from my kitchen to get my matrics to do DNA extractions. And I will always remember one of the grade 12s afterwards said to me, "Thank you, ma'am, for making us feel like scientists for an hour." So I had to learn to overcome the challenges. For example, also the school is 50 kilometers away from where I stayed in Lady Grey, and there's a school bus that travels from Lady Grey to the school that it takes about 45 minutes one way. So you drive in the morning along with your colleagues and on the way back. But we supported each other as teachers and also realized the difficulties some of these learners that were walking to school, sometimes barefoot, from small grade or grade 1, and then also some of the larger ones coming with taxis. I've also had the fortune to have been awarded accolades along the road. That I was in 2019, I was the runner-up for the district in teaching natural sciences. And then in 2021, I was selected as the national best teacher for DBE-E3. And that's also given me a platform to speak to the teachers of our country.
Great challenges and some interesting achievements also that goes with that. So for the education funders listening to this podcast, how important is the role of education funding by private sector and education foundations, including competition prizes, grants and donations to improving the learning experiences of your learners?
Although it is interesting to always see the excitement and how learners can get excited even if they are not prizes. Getting a prize for a child and even for adults is always something to challenge you to go further and reach for higher. And I've seen in 2020 when we were all at lockdown at home, and the first World Albatross Day was in 2020, but all my learners were at home. So in order to still celebrate this on the 19th of June 2020, I created the creative class competition where learners could use the resources they had at home to then have either an artwork or painting, drawing, graphical design. They could bake or they make craft of at least one albatross. That was the only instruction. And I managed to get sponsorship through ACAP, which is the Agreement on the Conservation of Albatrosses and Petrels, which is international, as well as Arctic Legacy of South Africa, in terms of posters and books. And it just motivated these learners to give you that extra. In terms of the expo, we see it, especially when we have the regional expo and then going on to the national expo, where there are non-governmental organizations and the research organizations coming in and giving prizes in the various categories. Again, now giving the learners something extra to work for. So it is really important that communities buy into projects that teachers work on with their learners.
Great. To wrap up, what message would you like to share with our listeners, especially young and aspiring educators who may be inspired by your story and nomination for the Varkey Foundation Global Teacher Prize?
A teacher is the best in his or her own classroom, but a teacher should not work in a silo on his or her own. Work along with the colleagues in your own school, but also find people in your subject fields or people that you can relate to from other schools. I've been very fortunate to in marine sciences have colleagues from other schools that, and in my own school, that I can collaborate with and we can share ideas with. And it certainly helps to know that you're not on your own struggling with something. You can just say, hey, help me with this, please. And it really helps to then work together and celebrate together. And it really helps to have a mentor. Find yourself somebody who has experience in the teaching field and be able. I also mentor currently 4 newly qualified teachers, and especially in your first year of education. It's one of the toughest years you'll have. But find yourself a mentor who's willing to, if it's virtually or in person, walk the road with you.
Thank you, Dr. Mariette Wheeler, for gracing the Science of Learning podcast with your inspiring journey and insights. We wish you the best of luck in the Varkey Foundation Global Teacher Prize 2023. To our listeners, stay tuned for more enriching conversations at the crossroads of entrepreneurship education, technology, and empowerment. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and inspiring.